Rachel, and today we're talking to my husband Carlos about our favorite series, our shared favorite series, An Ember in the Ashes by Saba Tahir. Today we're just going to talk about book 1. Carlos just reread the first
3.
Did you finish Reaper?
No, I got like an hour left.
Oh my gosh. You're on your 3rd reread of this, right?
I've read the book a lot.
Okay, I'm super excited to talk about this. You know, somebody asked for this video specifically.
A lot of people have. Since the beginning.
Somebody messaged me this morning asking, when do we get another video with Carlos? And I was like, well, I have to film it today. So the first thing that I want to ask before we even start is, as a father, do you feel like this entire sequence of terrible events carried out by Karis Vituria are the fault of her father, yes or no?
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah. This is all...
She had a pretty bad dad.
This is all his fault.
It's always the man.
It's actually not just me that values you in your opinion. So does today's sponsor, Gentle Bands. They reached out asking to talk to me about working with Carlos. It is Father's Day, so the recognition makes sense. Gentle Bands is out to reimagine rings. Since 2017, they have been exploring unconventional materials to create reimagined rings that speak to each person's individuality. You and I haven't worn rings in a really long time.
Yeah.
What happened to your last ring?
It broke.
It broke?
Yeah.
Even though it wasn't a carbon fiber?
Yeah, it was tungsten and carbon fiber and it cracked.
Gentle Bands believes that rings are a form of self-expression. You chose the Ferrari, which is rose gold and black.
Yeah.
Can you tell me why you chose that one?
Because we're obsessed with rose gold.
We really like rose
and
gold.
black everything.
True.
And it matches my watch.
So it didn't call to you like the One Ring called to Frodo?
I guess you could say that.
Gentle Bands was also nice enough to send him this gorgeous chain, which they recently decided to develop these based on customer feedback. Many folks are engaged in hands-on work where wearing a ring is not always feasible or convenient, so the chain offers an alternative solution, allowing people to keep their rings close to them while not being in the way. You sometimes work on cars or you cook, so having the ring has been really helpful for you.
Yeah, I used it yesterday when I was cleaning.
And
I actually prefer the chain.
Do you wear it on the chain at work?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Not only is it helpful to you, you also happen to pick this chain. Did you pick this chain because it looks like the one that you had when you were a kid?
Yeah.
Gentle Bands has great packaging, and they are currently offering free engraving. You can get a ring that speaks to your individuality, or get one for the daddy in your life, or the shadow daddy in your life, by clicking the link in the description below, and our audience gets an exclusive 25% off discount by using discount code Rachel25. Click that link below to get started, and thank you so much to Gentle Bands for sponsoring today's video, and for giving Carlos official co-star status.
Wow.
Yay.
Cute.
I know. Alright, Ember in the Ashes, which is over there. Did you know we have a physical copy?
Mm-hmm.
Did you know Penguin is sending us the paperbacks of the whole series?
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Penguin! And did you also know that Penguin is hosting a readathon? This isn't really me telling you, but Penguin's hosting a readathon because there's a 4th book coming out in the series. It is a continuation. It is set a little bit after the events of 5th book in the series. Thank you for correcting me, holy shit! They are running a readathon that actually starts the day after this video goes live, so they're reading 1 book per week for 4
Why are you telling me
weeks.
right now?
You were already ahead of the game.
I gotta start a 4th time now.
You were already ahead of the game. So they are starting on June 17th.
Been on that shit since the announcement.
Can I ask you a question before we start that is like sort of related?
What?
I got a comment today that I get frequently, and I think I've vented to you about how often I get these. It says, do you like any books? And a variation of this that I typically get is, do you like anything that you read? What do you think about that as a person who's sitting here talking to me about a series that we gush about all the time?
I think that their algorithm is taking them to your bad reviews for a reason, because they're negative people. We've talked about your positive reviews not doing as well, so they're just getting tricked by the algorithm, not to your content.
Yeah, like
But there's a lot of shit you do like.
I mean, I don't think a positive review hardly ever breaks at most 20K. But like that video I did with our kid, like
Nothing.
4K. That video I did where I went to DC didn't even hit 4K. I mean, like I'm doing stuff that I like.
I'm doing stuff, Lori. Thanks.
It's not hitting the algorithm the same.
That's not my problem.
Like, oh look, Rachel hating another book.
And I feel like they could answer their own question by scrolling and just like clicking.
Say just like and subscribe.
If you just like and subscribe, you might see some shit. I don't know. Do you have any memory of why you picked up this book in the first place?
No idea.
Yeah, I think that I had mentioned it to you, but I feel like you were like,
I was reading a
starting this
lot.
book.
I was reading a lot then. 'Cause
Yeah.
my commute was so long.
Yeah, your commute was longer. You read the entire Throne of Glass series, and then you read...
I don't remember shit.
You don't remember any of it.
Damn.
And then you read this, and
I don't remember shit.
this clicked for you
Yeah.
immediately.
I read this after, what was that? Brent Week's book.
Lightbringer.
Lightbringer.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called?
One of them is called Lightbringer, yeah, because it always gets confusing with Claire Legrand's book called Lightbringer, but I think it's called like
The Way of Shadows.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
yeah.
That's the bro book.
And my other question is, did you know that us mentioning this series repeatedly has caused people to pick it up? Like, are you aware of the effect you've had on the internet
I hope so.
regarding this book?
You should check out All My Rage too.
Oh yeah, I did do
Yeah.
a video. That's another video that did really poorly in the algorithm.
Of course it did.
I love that. We love that book. You actually read it before I did. And
Yeah.
you also read Sky Beyond the Storm, the fourth book in this series, before I did.
Yeah, and I was watching you read it.
You were watching me have
Where you
reactions.
What part are you on? Why aren't you crying yet?
Would you have, if somebody like described this book to you via the inciting incident, do you think that you would be interested?
Yeah, 100%.
So there's the scholars, which are Laya's people, our main character, Laya of Sarah, and then there's the what is Karis Materia's people?
The Empire?
Yeah, but they're called something.
The Marshals.
The Marshals. It's the
have to look
scholars
it up.
versus the
I
Marshals.
didn't have to look it up. I just had to think for 2 seconds. My 2 brain cells rubbed together.
Laya finds out that her brother Darren, who I definitely called him Darren because I originally read this on ebook. Darren is working with the Resistance, so the Marshal. He was accused of Darren, her brother, was accused of working with the Resistance, and the Resistance, the Scholar Resistance, had been trying to make a certain kind of weapon.
Tell 'em and steal.
Tell 'em and steal. Yeah. So I feel like this book jumps in and just hits the ground running, and that's why we were so into it. It's also very Star Wars of us.
I was just gonna say it's like the beginning of A New Hope. It immediately you're just thrown into conflict.
Wait, I feel like years ago I might have made a video where I said, here's a list of books I want to force my husband to read, and this might have been on it because it was so Star Warsy.
It really is.
It's very Star Wars. Laya of Sarah, her grandparents are killed, her parents are already dead, and so she finds out that her brother had possibly been working with the Resistance, and she's like, alright, well fuck it. After running away from the people who come and kill her grandparents, she's like, I'll go find the Resistance and they'll help me find my brother because her brother got arrested.
Well, that and the Resistance lived by a code. I forget what it was called, but she sought them out because they owed her, basically.
Right.
And they had to do it because of this like honor code that they have.
Because her parents were prominent in the
leaders,
Resistance. Yeah.
And her brother was arrested while working for them, so they owed her that favor.
Right. So she finds them and they agree to help her, but only because of those reasons.
Barely agreed.
Barely. Yeah, they don't. They're not. It's not like, welcome to the Resistance. We're so glad you're here. They're like, fuck you, get out.
Yep.
It's very reluctant.
And how does this benefit us?
Yeah. And then our other main character is Elias Ilias, who we love so much. I think that had we read this before we had our kid, or if we had ever had another kid, which
his name would be Elias.
His name would have been
100%.
Elias. 100,000%.
One of his names would have been.
Yeah. So
we'd call him Elias.
yeah. So Elias is in military school. He is part of the Marshall Military School. So was his grandpa, so was his mom. And he's trying to get away. He's trying to run away. And Elias, I have so many things I could say about Elias. What would you like to say about Elias? Elias Viturius is
number one.
Just
best in his class, doesn't want to be there.
Yeah.
He's just so fucking good at it, but hates it.
Reluctantly the best student that they have ever had. And it's punishable by death if he's caught running away. And he has been planning this under the noses of everybody, including his best friend, Helene Aquila. Anything you want to say about Helene Aquila?
Where do I start?
Helene Aquila was
broken. It never stopped.
And it just...
I wonder if she's still breaking in the new book.
Sabatier, it's very clear, cares about Helene Aquila on some level, and that level is in hell, because the most of the time, Sabatier is treating Helene like utter shit. Like, she just does not give a fuck about anybody.
We're getting way too ahead.
Especially not Helene. Yeah.
Helene, second best in her class.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's great.
The first girl selected to be a mask in Sense Karis.
I forgot about that entirely.
I don't know if it was Sense Karis or... I know they said that... I think, yeah, they only select one girl per... what's it called? Generation. One per generation. So the last girl that was selected was Karis.
Right. And Karis is who?
Shadow Mommy. Commandant.
Karis Vituria is the Commandant.
One of the best villains ever created.
Facts.
Yeah.
Karis Vituria, who you can all go ahead and imagine as Charlize Theron, is Elias. That's who we fan casted. Is Elias's mommy, and Elias. There has never been a bigger mommy issues character than Elias because of Karis. And Karis's mom died, and her life was very affected by this. And she is a terrible person.
The worst.
But we love to watch. I mean, we want her to stop. But also, I mean, she could kind of step on me. I don't know. So,
no.
Okay, so they are in Blackcliff, and when you become a mask at the military school of Blackcliff, you literally put on a mask. There's this silver mask, and Elias does not want to bond with his mask, so regularly he will take his off, but it eventually fuses entirely to your face. But again, he wants to run away. Helene is dedicated. She's like, I'm a mask. I want to be a mask. That shit's fusing to my face. I'm all in. But Elias makes it very obvious that he's like reluctantly there, while also being the best student.
It doesn't fuse with him.
Yeah.
Because it senses that he's not committed.
Yeah, he's not all there.
It's crazy. It's explained later on, but yeah, it melds to you.
Yeah.
Based on that or some shit like that.
He has plans to leave, but those plans are sort of thrown into chaos because there are trials coming to select the next emperor, and the augurs choose Elias, and Elias is like, fuck no.
Well, they choose the top 4 in the class.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Elias being number 1.
So it's Elias, Helene, Marcus, and...
Forgot Marcus's brother's name.
Yeah, Marcus's brother's name, poor Marcus's brother. And Marcus is a terrible person. There are several villains in this series. There is Karis, Elias's mom, Marcus, his classmate, and there's also the Nightbringer. Do you want to explain the Nightbringer? Don't tell anybody!
Cut that out. The Nightbringer?
Mm-hmm.
He's a mythical character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Not so mythical after all. There's this guy called the Nightbringer with eyes like fire, and he is the big bad. But there's several bads, but he's the big bad. But also, I mean, sometimes he can be a little compassionate. Laya, working with the Resistance, agrees to go to the military school to work as the housemaid / slave of...
Slave girl
of Karis Vituria, Elias's mom, the commandant of Blackcliff, and she is going to be a spy for the Resistance, and in exchange, the Resistance is supposed to help her free her brother who has been taken to prison.
What did Karis do to the last slave she had?
I don't remember.
It killed her.
Yeah, did she throw her off the cliff?
She threw herself off the
She
cliff.
threw herself off a cliff. That's great. Karis is so great to be around. Everybody loves Karis. The commandant is physically abusive to Laya. Laya meets and sort of befriends reluctantly the cook that works for the commandant along with the kitchen maid. And then she will also go like meet up with the Resistance to give information. But it's very, very dangerous working for the commandant because Karis will kill you without a second thought. And her handler who works for the Resistance, Keenan, they start to form an attraction to each other. And then she also meets this martial blacksmith, Spiro, who was he was working with Darren, right? He
was teaching Darren how to make
Telemann steel.
Telemann steel.
Right. So eventually Laya and Elias meet because Laya is delivering a message to him. And Elias helps Laya get out of trouble a couple times. And he shows that he obviously does not like his mom physically hurting Laya because he's a nice guy, but he's not supposed to be a nice guy.
She's also described as very thick. Whenever he's explaining her, he talks about how he could see her curve.
Yeah, so Elias is obviously very into Laya from the jump.
And like he has to save her from Marcus at one point.
Yes, Marcus, one of the schoolmates who's a bad guy. There are a lot of trials because, you know, there's the trials to become the next emperor. And there's one that includes like Jin.
Elias knows a lot about them because of his where he was born.
Right. Elias knows a lot of stories about things like Jin and Ifrits because he was not raised by Karis Vituria. He was raised by this nomadic tribe who took him in after Karis abandoned him, and his mom is the Kehani, the storyteller of this nomadic tribe, and so he knows a lot about different mythological creatures. That's right. There was like a get together.
It's like a party.
Like a party.
And Laya and Lizzie snuck out.
It was the Moon Festival.
Mm-hmm.
Elias was there, and I think he had a mask on. right? Didn't Laya not know that was
No,
him?
she couldn't recognize him because he took his mask off.
Right!
Yeah.
That's right. He had his normal martial mask
And he was
on.
speaking.
The tribal language.
Yeah.
Yeah, the woman who's one of the tribal women who
She's
gives
like
him
the only woman who is a tribal leader.
Yes.
She's super young to be a tribal leader.
She gives him a coin.
She's in Tribe Scythe. I can't remember her name.
We're really bad with names.
I'm
to be
terrible
fair.
with names.
We're terrible about it. He like gets jealous because at the Moon Festival, Laya is dancing with Keenum. Did you think that Keenum ever had a shot, like long term?
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
I thought so too. I was like, man, where is this gonna go?
It's a crazy love triangle.
Yeah, bonkers. Keenum seems, he's part of the resistance. He's doing what he's got to do, but he seems real nice.
And he was a good fighter. You're like, damn, this guy's pretty good.
Yeah. The trials are sort of the big end, like the big conclusion in this book.
It's the whole book. It's like more than half the book.
Yeah, but like that's the big ending is the showdown at the fourth trial, right? In the first trial, he sees a vision of all the people that he will eventually kill, and he really does not. I mean, he wanted to leave to begin with, like that's how we start the book, and he does not want to be that person. So he thinks if he leaves, that he will be able to avoid murdering a bunch of people. The second trial,
Specifically, I think they told him it's everyone that he has killed and will kill, especially as emperor.
yeah. Then in the second trial, we see things like Jinn, Ifrits, Wraiths, and they are starting to cross into the human realm. And this is part of like the larger story with the Nightbringer. Laya starts to see like these mythical creatures, and she's also part of this like broader thing going on. Helene, who is very loyal to the Empire, and her family's signature
Loyal to the
line
end.
is loyal to the end.
It's my next tattoo.
And she always has to like grapple with this, where her loyalty lies, even though she thinks that her loyalty is like with the Empire. She has feelings for Elias. He, I guess, sort of kind of reciprocated, but never really. And so that sort of felt like it was going the direction of a love triangle.
It's like he didn't understand why he wasn't reciprocal in that.
Yeah, it's like in theory they should have worked, but that's never who he was going to be. I felt so bad for Laya, but she was so resilient in this book, and she was like never prepared for any of this. She was never cut out for any of it, and the fact that she stayed alive is a miracle in and of itself. And
Is it though?
during one of the trials, Helene ends up with the ability to sing, like magically. And this is sort of like a broader thing that happens throughout the series.
Yeah.
And
I don't remember how it happened. I know that it was like the healing.
Yeah, so it's like a healing song, and she finds each person's song. Something that you really like about this series is the different ways that different people perceive each other. So like Helene's, she finds everybody's song. And then for Laya,
It's scents.
it's scents.
Yeah, like Elias smells like winter and something else.
Yeah. Elias and Helene are working together to try to like make it through these trials, but then when she finds out that Elias is helping Laya, who she just does not like.
She doesn't like it because it's messing with Elias's, like, not like messing with his head, but it's, the trials are important and she wants him to be emperor. And she wants to be his blood shrike, and she's like, this girl's getting in the way, and now
Yeah.
you're distracted.
And she's very loyal. That's her whole thing. And she's like, I have everything set up so that I can continue to be this person loyal to what I know and what I expect will happen.
We have to beat Marcus.
We have to beat
He's
Marcus.
a piece of shit.
He's terrible.
I don't want him to be emperor. Nobody does.
So in the third trial, the whole thing is a battle to the death, which I definitely did not see coming while I was reading this.
No, and it's so fucked up.
It's so awful.
fucked up.
It's so fucked up. So all the classmates are basically killing each other. They're set upon each other, and these are people that have been raised at Blackcliff to be like brothers.
They're all
in
friends.
arms.
All
They're-
like Helene
they're
and
family.
Marcus's armies. They're all friends.
and so they're set
Like,
upon each other.
He's not just killing them and then moving on. He's naming people as they're dying, which is fucking intense.
And Marcus ends up having to kill his own brother.
So the only reason that Elias didn't kill Helene is because in the second trial, Helene won, and they gave her that shirt that's kind of like their masks, and it stops
That's
metal.
right. It's made of.
So I'm pretty like
Yeah.
he gave her the killing blow or whatever, but she didn't die. But they were like, "All right, you killed her."
Yeah.
And it was like this big fucking like, what the fuck? So Elias technically wins, right? But then Marcus, when they see Marcus again, they're like, why are you both alive? And then Marcus, the only like bit of like softness to Marcus that you get in the entire series is when he's explaining how easy it was to kill his brother.
I remember that.
Like,
that
it
was awful.
Broke him.
And
when you actually feel bad for him in that moment.
And you never
you
feel
hate
bad.
him. You hate him.
Marcus.
99% of the book, that one moment, you're like, damn, he comes in, expects to see who won, and sees both of them, and he's like, why? The goal was to kill each other. That's what we had to do, right? We had to kill. Why did I just kill my brother? Like,
I'm getting emotional.
It's rough.
It's awful. And the whole thing is like, Elias is like, Elias seems to be the only one thinking like, this was all set up by the augurs. What was the point of any of this? I don't understand what you guys are motivated by, why you guys would do this to us.
I swear. So you got your top, that was one thing that I'm just like, this pisses me off. You get your top 4, you got your 4 best, and you're like, only one of you is going to live.
Yeah.
Or only 2 of you are going to live, the other 2. Like, you're giving up 2 people. Like, imagine if Elias, and I do this with this book all the time because I want things to, I don't want people to die. I don't want things to change. But like, imagine Elias and Helene win. Elias becomes emperor. Helene is his Shrike.
A blood Shrike is what, by
it's
the
like
way?
your second in command. Something
yeah.
like that. Marcus would be like the best general.
Yeah.
To like literally just send to go fuck shit up, because that's what they do, right?
Yeah. Like for what the Empire wants to do, Marcus would be good at that job.
He's heartless.
Him and his
brother could run shit.
Yeah.
On the other side, if the 2 of them were the emperor and Shrike, Zacharias would have been a great emperor. And come on, Marcus as a blood Shrike, supposed to be cold-hearted, just like doing all the dirty work that no one else wants to do.
And that's what's so interesting about, and not giving anything away, but like later in the series, you are supposed to be cold-hearted. And Helene is like, this is the job that I was supposed to do. And then she slowly learns that is not and never who she was. And you didn't get POVs from Helene in this book, but then you do in the next book. And it made the story so much richer.
Yep.
Going on that journey with her. So how did the book end, this book?
So the last trial, and Elias loses his shit.
Yeah.
Because the last trial is to kill a spy.
Yeah.
And that spy is Laia.
That spy is Laia.
You said she survived this whole thing somehow. It's because Karis knew the whole fucking time.
Yeah, Karis Vituria always fucking knows.
Karis literally looks at her.
16 steps ahead of you.
She looks at her and she's like, did you really think I didn't know you were a spy? Like,
you are so stupid.
So yeah, they the third trial, Elias won. So everybody gets a prize. And Laia was his prize.
That's right.
So when they grabbed Laia after the fact for the 4th trial, Elias snaps and he's like, who is this a trial for?
Yeah.
It's a trial. I'm the only one getting tested here.
Yeah.
No one else is. And
because the trial is to kill Laia right after he was given her as a gift, and he like spends the night with her, which they just like sat
they just
in his
talked.
room
She was
she was
scared of him.
She was terrified, which
so
I would be too.
He did that. See, this is the cool thing. Like, why we love Elias. He's like, oh, you're scared? I'm not gonna do anything, but here's a dagger.
Yeah.
She has that dagger the whole series.
The whole series.
And in the 4th trial, he snaps. And he's like, I'm the only one being tested. You literally gave her to me as a prize.
Yeah, locked me in my room with her.
The first person to kill her wins. The
only person you're testing is me.
The only person. But I feel like it's intentional. Because he's the least loyal to the Empire.
Yeah.
He is the least loyal.
100%.
He wanted to desert. So it's like, if you're going to test anybody's loyalty to become emperor more, it's going to be him.
Right.
And come on, Cain knew. Cain knows all.
Yeah.
So.
And
he can't be surprised.
Laia,
like, immediately off rip, that whole scene is already like pretty important. Off rip, they say go. He dives in front, in the span of a couple seconds, he dives in front of Laia and holds his arms out to stop somebody from hurting her. Helene knocks out Marcus and like goes to like throw the sword to like Elias, and she sees he's standing there protect. She was like, she knocks him out and is like, here, kill her. And when she looks at Elias is protecting Laia instead of...
And she was so
she was
heartbroken.
Like, what the
she was so disappointed.
She wanted to give him the win right there.
I would have been you would have been
She gave it to him.
I would have been your Shrike.
She did the most blood Shrike shit right there. God, it needs to be a fucking movie.
And he had told Laia that night that they were forced to sit in his room together, that he, like, I've been trying to leave. I dug an exit. I dug a way out of here. I'm trying to get out of this bitch. And
I'm not like the other masks.
she's like,
I'm different.
I'm not like other masks. She's like, I'm gonna stow that away because that is good information for me to give to the resistance. And she also overhears the commandant, Karis Soteria, his mom, talking to the Nightbringer in her office. And we later learned the legend surrounding him, that he is trying to get revenge on the Scholars, which are her people, by aligning with the Marshals, which are Karis Soteria's people.
Yeah, he wants to kill all of them, all the Scholars.
Because the Nightbringer is a djinn. He's the only one left after the Scholars imprisoned all of his people. Okay, so Helene knocks Marcus out and is like, Elias, kill Laya, and then I'm gonna be able to be your blood shrike. Elias ends up protecting Laya, but then Marcus wakes up, throws a knife at Laya.
No, one of the augurs jumped onto Laya. The augur stopped the blade from stabbing Laya. The augur got stabbed, but they don't die.
Right.
So
all the blood that they saw was actually the augurs. Laya wasn't dead. Elias is now in trouble for not being the one to kill her, even though she's not dead.
He betrayed the Empire in that moment.
But Helene didn't, because she told him to kill her. Helene was still loyal to the end. And Marcus gets to the Emperor now because he did the task, technically, of killing Laya. The old Emperor gets killed because he didn't want to be replaced. And
I think they announced it like right before the trial started.
Did they?
Like somebody stormed in and was like,
the Emperor's
dead.
Yeah. Elias is supposed to be beheaded, and Laya gets carried away to safety, and now it's like, well, what is going on with the augurs? Why did they set all of this up just to, if killing Laya wasn't the point, if they saved Laya, then what was the point of all of this? And that's sort of a question that you asked throughout the entire series until the very end.
Yeah. Who is Laya and why?
Yeah. She's actually taken to the Resistance, and Laya learns that the Resistance is like, we were never actually really going to help you.
And you kind of get like hints of that in the back.
Yeah.
And like earlier, her brother was in a certain prison, but they said that he was moved to a different jail.
Yeah, they said he was somewhere else when he's been at Koff.
And when that night she was with Elias, he's like, that jail
Elias,
is only for like drunks.
He's
like, if he's there, you can, or he's like, there are no cells there, or something like that.
Yeah.
He's like, there are no prisoner cells there. Why would your brother be there?
Yeah, and she's like, why would I trust this guy when the Resistance is helping me? Yeah.
And then she confronts them about it.
Yeah, and they played right into the Commandant's plans, because Karis wanted the current Emperor to die. And Karis, again, is always that's why we like her, is that every time you think, like, finally Elias or Laya has finally made some progress, Karis swoops in and is like, I knew the whole fucking time. You're so stupid. I knew everything. I am way ahead of you.
And the only person that can one-up her is
the Nightbringer.
Helene.
Oh, well, eventually. Well, the Nightbringer is also 16 steps ahead, but you learn more about that in, like, later books. But it's like, between Karis and the Nightbringer, you never know what the fuck is going on until they reveal it to you, which makes it so delicious.
I think that's another reason I like it so much, is I can predict a lot of like what's going to happen in shows and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And in books.
Not with this.
Even with you explaining stuff, I'm like, oh, let me guess.
By the way, when you bond with a dragon, you get certain powers.
Did she get light powers?
She got lightning. How did you know that?
Because he has shadow powers.
Oh my god! This is so stupid!
I couldn't predict any of it.
Like, sometimes even down to we can guess what people are going to say in a TV show before they can say it. Never with this. We've just consumed so much media that so much of it is recycled, which is fine. It doesn't make it bad. It's just we desperately crave something new. Sabu Tahir knows how to do that.
And we even say it all the time. Like, there's a lot of common themes in this book that are in every book. Like, all these other books, you know.
Sure.
All the different, like, what is it, plots?
Plot
Subplots?
points, yeah.
And plot points.
Yeah.
They're the usual stuff in YA, but it's done perfectly.
Yeah,
Like,
I absolutely
all the
agree.
cliches are still done perfectly.
So in the...
Like, come on, saying the title in the book,
Yeah.
it's in every book.
It's in every book.
But it's written well. It's not just,
It's not cringy.
what are we, some Suicide Squad?
Oh my god, it's so cringy.
You are, like, I think in this one, it's like, you are an ember in the ashes that will catch flame and burn the Empire down, or some crazy shit like that.
And that's really a good point to, like, how small they are in comparison to, like, bigger players like the Nightbringer, who is a djinn, who is very old, and Karis Soteria, who wields a substantial amount of power and has been planning things to exact her revenge on others for years and years and years. I mean, she has meticulous plans, but so do the augurs. And so even though all of these people, all of these beings have all of these plans, Laya and Elias are this tiny little, they're an ember in ashes. They are almost nothing nothing, but it's still enough. And the fact that Sabatahir set it up so that it was like perfectly coordinated, that all this domino effect would fall exactly how she planned it out, and it would lay exactly how she determined it in the beginning. All of it is like perfectly woven together. It's like a masterpiece in my opinion.
It really is. It's the most deserving for. I need a fucking movie.
Yeah.
I need a TV show.
I need a whole Amazon show. Yeah.
I need this to become my personality more than it already is.
Yeah, I think
I've recommended this book to everybody, and no offense to any of them, all right? But like, what's that one author that they won't stop fucking reading?
Sarah J. Maas?
Brandon Sanderson.
Brandon Sanderson.
Holy shit! All of my friends, all my dude friends who read books, I'm like, bro, check this one out. One of them finally did, and he is obsessed with it.
I would really like my brother to read this.
But like,
But
they're like,
he's
well,
like a Brando nerd.
I got to finish reading Sanderson. And I'm like, oh my God, you're calling him Sanderson? Like, you know him or something?
Brandon and I have a long-term relationship together, and yeah, so...
And like, I haven't read a single one of his books, so I eventually will. And I know he's a great author. I'm not talking shit, but it's like, dude, stop asking me for recommendations if you're just going to go back and read another Sanderson novel.
And I feel like, personally, having read the two of them, I would still rather reach for Sabatahir over Brandon Sanderson, just because I feel like the villains are just
Maybe we're just villain people.
We're just villain people. Like, the villains are so carefully crafted in this. In like, Brandon Sanderson's heroes, I feel like, are really well crafted. They're so great, and I appreciate them. Like, I think that Elantris is a great book, but I think that in Ember in the Ashes, you're watching this play out, and you're so horrified, but also in awe, and half of that is watching the villains, and how meticulous everything was plotted out by them years in advance. And with every reveal, it's like I didn't feel, and maybe I missed something, but I didn't ever feel like that doesn't make sense to what I read 3 books ago. All of it made sense. All of it felt like it was done with a ton of forethought, which is a very difficult thing to achieve.
Especially right now when I'm talking to you about it, like rereading it, I'm like, I never even realized that before at all.
So in the end, Laia decides to help Elias escape. He did build that tunnel, and Cook, who has been working for Karis Vituria, who's always like, Laia, you're so fucking stupid, you're the worst, you're stupid as hell, you're gonna get yourself killed. And
don't
Cook
have friends, don't do nothing, just shut up and listen.
And then Cook is like the
Save
biggest
yourself.
example of something that was meticulously plotted out, because Cook, you think that she's just a cook who is like, Laia, you are stupid.
A lifelong slave.
And then you learn in later books how important she is, and how
In this one,
how like 3-dimensional she is, and it's immaculate.
So in this one, she talks about how she was in the Resistance and how you can't trust them and all that stuff. And she hates the Resistance, she hates Karis, but she's terrified of what Karis... Because Lizzie doesn't have an eye.
Lizzie, the kitchen girl.
Because...
Right. And
because
Lizzie,
of a punishment towards Cook.
Right, and Lizzie's
She
the only
took her eye
person
out.
left that Cook cares about. So many things I want to say about Cook. Helene is forced to swear allegiance to Marcus, who she fucking hates. But she still helps Laia and Elias in their escape. She gives them a head start, right? Isn't that how it worked out? She like gives them a head start, and then she's like, I'm gonna have to come after you.
It was her it was like her last favor she found. You gotta talk about how they save him.
How did they save him?
He was about to get beheaded by Helene. She had axe in hand.
Right.
But Cook created this like grand escape where there'd be a lot of explosions. They blew up buildings.
Oh my god, that's right, because she was
They
in the
blew up
Resistance, and she was really good with explosives. Yeah. And she set it up so that after all this, don't have friends, don't rely on anybody, she's the one who gets Laia and Elias out
all right,
of it.
fine, but you need to get Lizzie out of here too.
Yeah.
So she worked with the Resistance and said, I'm gonna escape, and Keenum was like, all right, be here at this dock at this time.
The Resistance guy.
And we'll get you out of here. And she's like, yeah, fuck that. I'm saving, I need that masked guy. He doesn't deserve to die, and if anybody can get my brother out of prison, it's him. Tells Cook, and Cook's like, you're fucking batshit crazy, but bitch, so am I. Makes all these bombs and shit, and they go off in perfect sequence to stun everybody in the area, concussed Helene.
Saba.
Elias literally was like, is this death? Oh, it is death. This is the girl. This is the slave girl.
Mm-hmm.
Why am I seeing you right now? And she's like, you're not dead. Come with me. Gets his ass out of there. Everything's frantic because buildings are like getting blown up and stuff. I need to see it. I need to see it.
I need to see it on screen.
So they get out of there, and then Helene finds him in his room or something like that because he's grabbing like, or no, I think in the cave, something. She finds them somewhere because she knows Elias, and then I think she told guards that she's like, oh, they went that way, and it was like her last favor, and she's like, next time I see you, I'm gonna have to kill you.
Next time I see you, we're enemies.
Yeah,
we are enemies. And then Elias and Laya leave, and their plan is to go free her brother Darin from Koth prison, where he's actually been. The resistance lied to her this whole time.
And Helene, there's also that like bit of confliction with Elias because she healed him after this second trial.
Didn't she also heal Laya? She's just out here healing everybody, and that's how she knows their song.
Yeah.
Because with her song healing magic.
I don't remember when she healed Laya.
I thought it was book 1. I don't know.
I just read all 3 in the span of like
a
month.
They're
so
basically
it's all,
all compacted for you. Yeah. This series for me, I don't rate them individually anymore.
Oh yeah, that was the other thing. Once they escape, he fights the Commandant.
Right.
Yeah.
He fights his mommy.
And he beats her.
He does.
He wins with just this little scratch on his arm, and then
the scratch on his arm.
Yeah, Laya actually helped. She threw sand or something like that.
Yes.
And I think that was the
They
first.
were out in like the scholar territory. I think they were escaping, but Karis came upon them.
It was a house.
Yeah.
That it was like one of his grandpa's houses or something like
you're
that.
right. Yes.
Because he wanted to steal the horse.
Yes.
And she's like, "Did you think I didn't know about this property?" Because he thought nobody knew about it. She wouldn't remember. I think it was where Elias no, it wasn't where he learned. I think it was where Karis learned to walk. So like, she knew about it.
So it's him and his grandpa are close, but he just does not want to be a marshal like his family.
Yeah.
And so he goes to that property, and his mom's like, "You think I didn't know?
I
always know."
And I think that when Elias showed up and I think she threw dirt at Karis and it created an opening. I think that was the reason, because it's Karis Viteria. Like, how is she getting close?
It's Karis Viteria.
Like, how is Laya doing anything? I think that might have been the first time you kind of get an inkling that she has an ability. Because there's no way Laya could get that close.
There are little hints that Laya has some sort of power, but you don't really pick up on that stuff until later in the book, and then or later in the series, and then you have to reread to really see all the stuff you missed. This is a series meant to reread multiple times.
She just disappears randomly, in a crowd, and it's like...
Yeah.
You notice it later on when you reread the book, and it's like you said, very meticulously planned out.
Meticulous.
That when you're rereading, you're like, that's how she disappeared. Yeah, so then they escape, and who shows up to the little escape boat with Keenum?
Lizzie. Yeah, Lizzie, the kitchen girl with only one eye.
So she sent Lizzie to Keenum, and then she went with Elias to go save her brother, and that's how it ends.
Yeah.
And then Cook disappeared.
Just for now.
Cook's just gone.
Cook was always
They were never even. They're like, yeah, I'll help you with this plan, child, and then that's it. And you're like, oh, okay, so Cook cooked, and then
Cook cooked,
and then
someone's cooked here.
And then she just randomly shows up in the second book, and you're like, what the fuck?
The fuck are you doing here, old lady?
How did you get up there?
That's so true. Cook, how did you get up there? Insert last name she doesn't have anymore.
Helene's just like, how the
I love it so much. So I don't rate this series individually anymore because once I fall in love with a series as a whole, I stop rating the books individually on their own merit and just think of the whole series as a 5. The other series they do this with is Furyborn. This whole series is just a 5 for me. I don't rate them individually anymore. I just think of the whole series as just an absolute banger. It's just the whole thing is 5 stars. It's perfection. I love it. Are you nervous that the next one is not going to hit the same?
Fuck no.
Me neither.
No. After reading All My Rage, that's completely separate.
Yeah.
And it just being perfection.
Same.
She could write another 8 books, and I'm gonna assume that I'm gonna recommend them before I read them.
Look at your cat trying to start shit with my cat. I trust Saba Tahir with my life, with my reading life. I will read anything she puts down on paper, and I know I'm gonna give it a 5. I would be shocked if I didn't.
I mean, she knows too. Remember we talked about her shirt where it says Kehani?
Oh yeah.
I was like, she knows.
Storyteller. Yeah, she knows
what she's
her
doing.
talent, and you know what? She should.
Yeah.
She should get all of her flowers.
Remember when she's like, and I'll do it again.
Yeah. I know. I often want to ask her, like, do you like pain and inflicting it upon others? Because you did that to me.
I welcome it.
And I'll do it again. I'm very excited for the next book in the series. It features, I'm not going to say who, but it features characters from the series as the main characters, but it's later in the future. I was so happy.
It's funny because like people that I've recommended the book to, they read the first book and they're like, Helene's your favorite? Like, keep reading, kids.
You know not what you are in for. You will be unmade. You will be broken.
Like, one of my friends was like, dude, she's your favorite. Like, after reading all of it, she's like, she's your favorite. And I was like, yes.
All right. Well, I think that about covers it. I think that that's a sufficient amount of gushing.
Yeah, we missed like 80% of the book, but yeah.
Yeah, I didn't want to go over like every last detail just because there really is so much. This is, how many pages is this? 430? I thought so. Yeah. Wow, okay, it just stops doing page numbers. It just literally stopped doing page numbers. It's 440 pages. 446. Wow, I'm good. It's quite a chunker. And then the next ones are the same, and I think Sky Beyond the Storm is pretty long. It's a lot to go through. It's a ton, and I think that it is worth every fucking page. If I can,
a map?
But yeah, there's a map. Oh, you've only read the audiobooks. So
yeah.
You don't, wow, you're seeing it for the first time. Him seeing the world of the Ember in the Ashes for the first time.
Oh, really? It really is. I didn't know Blackcliff was in Sarah. What the fuck?
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense.
So this is where they were trying to go.
The Borderlands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's Koff?
I want to say Koff is over here. Yeah, Koff
God
prison.
damn.
Yeah, all the way the fuck up there. Because they're traveling the next book. They're traveling.
Yeah.
And then that's when they end up at the Forest of Dusk. We will not be saying anything. We will spare you.
Still waiting for that chapter to pop up.
What chapter?
You know, the chapters are their names.
Oh.
And then
the names
we'll get to the
change.
spoiler part, people that have read it. And then chapter 5, book 3 is called Bloodstrike and not Helene. I'm still waiting for like chapter fucking 30.
The book ends and Elias changes because he's no longer Elias. He's the soul catcher.
That little bit is just so significant.
It's so painful.
Because, especially rereading it, at the end of book 2, Helene talks about how she is completely broken and Helene is gone. And then the first chapter in book 3 is Bloodstrike. It's like, none of it's accidental. It's all on purpose.
It is. And it was
you could name the chapters anything, but you chose to name them after the POV that you're watching, just to break me further.
She did. Like, when Saba wrote the words, "You will be unmade, you will be broken,"
She meant you.
she meant you.
Yeah.
You specifically.
She meant the reader.
Highly recommend. 5 stars. But what do I know? I hate everything I read.
I want a movie. I want a theme park. I want a video game.
You want a Forest of Dusk and Koff prison?
I want to walk into.
I want a video game.
I want to shake hands. I want to take a picture with Helene.
I will
wait in the line like we did for.
I would
Toy
like a
Story.
picture with Karis Vituria with her stepping on my neck.
That would probably be what they would do. They'd be like,
Yeah.
lay down. It's like a little 5'4".
Instead of a Bibbidi
woman.
Bobbidi boutique, they put like silver. They paint you with a silver mask. That would be fun.
Instead of Savvy's workshop, you got Teleman's.
Spiro
Teleman's workshop.
Spiro Teleman's workshop. I don't know. We're onto something here. This seems like a moneymaker.
Yeah, it's gonna get Saba on the line.
Yeah. Somebody call her. I'm begging.
Somebody get Disney to buy out this franchise too.
I really wanted for Christmas to be able to buy you a signed, signed and annotated
Telemann
copy of Sky Beyond the Storm. Unfortunately, somebody outbid me.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
I was really, really sad. So if anybody knows how to get in touch with Saba Tahir, I will pay you almost any amount of money. I'm begging you, ma'am, please.
I just need to go to a meet and greet.
Somebody.
Is she gonna go on tour
Somebody
with the new book? Did we miss it?
I fucking hope so. No, it's not out yet. The tour happens when the book releases. I will drive anywhere to get us there.
I'm going to Orlando.
I don't know if
I'll
she'll
go to Orlando.
there.
I'll go to Texas.
I will go anywhere to meet Saba Tahir and have her sign all my copies and just be like, can you just go to the page that is your favorite line and underline it, and then I'm gonna get that tattooed. It's not weird. Let's not make it weird, just please.
We all know what her favorite line is.
The most painful one, for
You will be
certain.
broken. You will be unmade.
Okay, thank you so much for watching. We will see you next time.
Bye.
Oh, wow. Now suddenly somebody's got a smile.
Little Elias.
Little Elias. Okay.
You can't play Freddy. That's a scary game.
Thanks for watching. Let us know if you have read An Ember in the Ashes and what you thought of it, and if you are excited for Air coming out this year. Thank you so much to Penguin Teen for putting together the readathon. We are super excited about that. You can get all the information down below. Check out Gentleman's. Leave your comments, questions down below. If you made it this far, you can leave a mask emoji in honor of Helene Aquila. Okay, thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye! Before I go, I have to say thank you for being a friend to my Therapy Bills patrons, and those are Alexander, Ashley H, Astrid P, Brittany Bobitney, Cami, Chris, Choco's Trash for Japanese Mysteries and Thrillers, DJ Rocktopus, Ellie, Emerald Dodge, Emperor's New Blues, Aaron with 2 E's, Eric, Galaxy Bot, Jess, John E, Julie D, Kaleno K, Casey McKenzie, Kate W, Kiara, Quinn, Lady Kittybug, Lady Chips, Lemon Jelly, Lex, Lily B, Max B, Mommy Zombie, Alice, Panoramic Demon, God, that's a good one, Rain, Reese, SJ, Samar, Sad Witch Bree, Scarlet, Shiny, SMK, Spoopy, Steph B, 2 Orbit, Urchin Audrey, White Raven 13, Zorvictia, Your Bad Little Dragon, Peggy, that is a crime, and Chai Guy. Thank you all so much for being here and for being a friend. And last but not least, I have to say thank you for being a friend to my Potato Starch Marxist patrons, and those are Alejandra, Alicia, the Bane of Book Banners. Ha! I love that. I love that very much. Althea, Amanda D, Amanda, Andy, Angelica, Artie the Ninth, Ava, Ballads and Bookends, Beck, Blake Lemon Pants, Blythe, Bookish Brain Rot, Bookish by Geneva, Bree, Caitlin, Cardinal Ginger, Carlin, Casper, Kate W, Catherine, Kathy, CJ, Clover's Mom, Cole, Colleen, Corwin, Cosmic, Darius, Danielle, Darren, Desiree, Dilf Enthusiast, Dorian, Dorothea, E.T. Cosgrove, Ebby, Emily A, Emily L, Emma, Other Emma, Aaron, Ezra Moon, Fiona, Gadarn, Garrett, Hannah C, Harpy Kuro, Haley G, Ilianaka, JM Tennant, Jay is on Olympus, Jelly V, Jen Michelle, Genderqueer, Jenny G, Justice Sue, Jill, Jillian R, Jojo Bookish, Kat, Catherine, Katie, Kaylee, Kayala, Kendra, KMTB, Laughing Cat Dog, Laura, Lauren, Lazarus Ray, Library of Scars, Lindsay, Lisa B, Lisa L, LP, Lou Siri, Lustful Octopus, Martin, Madison, Man-Eating Plant, Marcella, Marquita, Megan, Malara, Mentally Unwell, Same, May, Mockingbird Nation, Molly, James, Natalie, Never, Nicole G, Nicole R, Nyan Binary, Paige P, Penny Chilling, Foxglove, Rachel B, Reba, Rebecca, Rebecca R, Ronnie, Rosie, Rowan, Secoria, Sadie, Saintbringer. Oh, Saintbringer is a great name. Oh my gosh. That belongs in a fantasy book. Sorry. Saki Alume, Samantha, Sammy C, Sarah H, Sarah the Bear, Sarah Z, Shamed, Shannon, Sean, Super Evil Sam, Tay, Talia, Tiana, Trashcan Teddy, Triple M, Tito Phoenix, and Writer A. Thank you all so much for being here and for being a friend.